Hello everybody, in today's video we will be going over 5 of the worst hurricanes to have made landfall in the United States. Galveston Hurricane. The Great Galveston Hurricane of 1900 is by far the deadliest natural disaster to impact the United States. It made landfall on September 8, 1900 as a Category 4 hurricane with winds of 145 miles per hour. After crossing over Cuba as a tropical storm, it emerged from the Florida Strait and quickly intensified to a hurricane. The storm continued to intensify in the Gulf of Mexico before making a right turn into Texas. Galveston was hit with catastrophic damage. The storm continued its path north and slowly weakened as it passed over Oklahoma. The Miami Hurricane. During the Roaring '20s, Miami was the fastest growing city in the United States with an increase of permanent residents from all over the country. Therefore, a good portion of the population was unfamiliar with hurricanes and their effects. On September 11, 1926, ships contacted the U.S. Weather Bureau to notify them that a hurricane was roughly 1,000 miles east of the Leeward Islands. The storm continued its path west, crossing over Puerto Rico and the Bahamas. A hurricane warning wasn't issued until less than 24 hours before the storm made landfall because they were uncertain of the hurricane's path. The 1926 Miami hurricane made landfall as a Category 4 hurricane on September 18. The eye passed directly over Miami and skies cleared for about 35 minutes, so everyone thought the storm was over. Many people emerged from their homes and crowded the streets not knowing that the storm was not quite done. The Okeechobee Hurricane. 2 years after the Miami hurricane, Florida got another massive blow that crippled the southern part of the state. The Okeechobee Hurricane is one of the deadliest and most destructive storms to ever hit the United States. On September 6, 1928, the tropical storm quickly intensified to a hurricane by the end of the day. The storm continued to gain strength and by September 13 it slammed into Puerto Rico as a Category 5 hurricane with winds of 160 miles per hour. Finally, the Okeechobee Hurricane made landfall around West Palm Beach, Florida on September 17 as a Category 4 storm. Hurricane Andrew. This Category 5 storm pummeled South Florida and the Gulf Coast in August 1992. Tropical Storm Andrew actually developed in the East Atlantic on August 16 and then spent a week meandering west with no real signs of strengthening. The storm rapidly intensified to a Category 5 hurricane just before reaching the Bahamas on August 23 before slamming into the Florida coast on August 24. The hurricane emerged in the Gulf of Mexico a few hours later as a Category 4. Andrew quickly turned right and weakened to a Category 3 before making a second landfall in Louisiana on August 28. Hurricane Katrina. The Gulf Coast was hit with a monster storm in 2005. Hurricane Katrina was coming in and crushed everything in its path. Katrina tops the list for the costliest natural disaster and third deadliest storm to ever hit the U.S. This storm developed over the Bahamas on August 23 and quickly intensified into Tropical Storm Katrina the very next day. The tropical storm headed toward Florida, slowly strengthening to a Category 1 hurricane just 2 hours before making landfall at Hallandale Beach, Florida on August 25. It briefly weakened to a tropical storm over Florida before emerging into the Gulf of Mexico on August 26. Katrina began to rapidly intensify and strengthened to a Category 5 hurricane over the warm Gulf waters. This storm eventually made a second landfall as a Category 3 hurricane on August 29 in southeast Louisiana. Katrina's most catastrophic impacts were from storm surge rather than wind because of its sheer size. And that has been 5 of the worst hurricanes to have made landfall in the United States. Please show your support for this channel by liking this video and subscribing. Until next time, peace.